You cannot give from an empty cup, period. Welcome back to the Mystic Rebels podcast. My name is Ashley. I am the teacher and nurturer over at Mystic Circle, our school and community where we teach people how to thrive and vibe higher ultimately using tarot, astrology, herbalism, and so much more yummy, yummy goodness that we can apply to our lives because it's got to be practical. Otherwise, it's going to be too hard. And if we're not grounding, if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we can't take care of others. And I remember back in the day, I had a friend who used to say that she could drive drunk. And this is a long time ago. I was a teenager. And she'd be like, I don't have any problems when I drive drunk. Like, I don't have any issues whatsoever. Like, I'm not actually drunk, even though I'm drunk. And even though I was a people pleaser and a bit of a doormat, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not a good idea to test that because, how well can you be sure? Turns out she ended up marrying a cop that pulled her over years later, but that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is he would have taken her to jail had she not been his future baby mama. And we can apply that to people who say that they don't need to take care of themselves, that, they can do with less because none of us can. I used to be one of those people. So was my mother. And my mother struggled for decades with illness and imbalances, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. Thirdly, I should say. And I think that we don't give ourselves enough credit in this life. And sometimes that's the first step, is just honoring that it's okay to just be run down and to need time for yourself. And it can be really overwhelming for people when you first start this healing journey and start establishing boundaries in your life and establishing, well, what do I need to succeed and to thrive and to be healthy and happy? Because it involves advocating for yourself. And that's a voice that many of us don't develop and have a really hard time developing because there are people in our lives who may not understand. And like for me, I have a 3-year-old and a baby. But what's funny is they actually do understand when I explain it to them. They may not understand why mommy is just laying on the ground and rubbing her forehead back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, massaging that third eye. But I will tell them, like, mommy just needs a minute. Mommy's relaxing. Mommy needs a second. And they'll start doing it too. That's the beauty of children. They learn by example. So they are a constant reminder of whether or not I need to practice my self-care. And the answer is always yes, yes. To any, whether you're a mother, a working 24/7 single, it doesn't matter. You always need to practice self-care. But how can we do it in a way that makes it easier for us and doesn't feel so overwhelming? Because, you see all these videos on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and they're like, this is my morning routine. I spend 2 hours in the sauna and I rotate between the sauna and the ice bath. And then I have a large bowl of fruit, just like perfectly curated bowl of fruit. And the sun is hitting it perfectly. And, it took like 20 minutes to cut up. And me, I'm in the kitchen and be like, I just need a fucking bite of something. I actually want to do a day in the life and it not be pretty because it's not real. I mean, maybe some people have that life, but not me and not most people who would want micro acts of self-care instead of journaling for 2 hours and then reflecting on my childhood with my therapist and then going to yoga and then meeting the girlfriends for mocktails and dreams. That's awesome and bless you for having that life. Most of us don't have that. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't know about you, comment down below what your morning routine is like. And before I established micro acts of self-care for myself, it was just go. It was just go. It's wake up because we co-sleep. So it's as soon as baby's awake, as soon as Isla's awake, whether or not baby's awake, Isla, my eldest, is like, "Mommy, you coming?" I'm like, "Yeah, obviously I have to come. I can't let you roam around the house alone." Because Logan usually goes to the gym first thing in the morning, which is awesome. He gets his self-care in. And then, I do it throughout the day. Because I'm the primary and because I breastfeed, it's not something where I can be like, I'm going to go for 2 hours somewhere by myself. Even though I can, right now, the way our life is, it's chaos. It's chaos. We're building businesses. We're building out our school. I'm creating my herbalism masterclass, constantly doing webinars, and there's always projects that we're working on. And I love it. I love, love, love to work. But I also love creating balance with my family. And I don't want to feel like I have to do one or the other. And that is a wound of mine. This feeling like, okay, I can either give it all to my family and be there for my girls because that's what they deserve. They deserve a mom completely immersed and completely present. And I don't want to split my focus. But then there's the aspect of my identity that's like, I matter too. And I need to be happy and nourished and nurtured. Otherwise, this side of me, the mother side, is going to get, what's the word? Bitter, embittered, and take it out on my kids. And I don't want to be that kind of mom. And my mother was like that. She didn't mean to be. She could be the most nurturing, loving mother. If you needed anything, it was like, you need anything, honey? Can I get you anything? You need anything? Can I get you anything? Can I eat anything? But if we didn't jump up to clean, or if she asked us to do something and we didn't do it right away, she would freak out because she was resentful. And she didn't set boundaries, and she didn't really teach us any sort of healthy dynamic early on because she didn't know how. It's because she didn't have the tools. But I do, and I have to apply them, and it's hard. It is hard work. So I want to give it up to the people who are like, I don't know where the F to start. I don't know what to do. I just need to do something. That's a great place to start, to do something. And if you take one thing from this list that I'm about to talk about, then that's progress. And give yourself credit for how far you come each day. Each little micro act of self-care is something that you should honor. You should honor yourself. You are sacred. Human beings are sacred beings. And what does sacred mean? It means worthy of worship. So that means we need to have reverence for this body, this vessel, this spirit. So what do we need to thrive? Well, first things first. In the morning, I've got notes. First things first in the morning, mirror affirmations. Now, these are technically spiritual. Some of these are spiritual. Some of these but they're all practical. They're all very easy and really don't require much equipment whatsoever. But mirror affirmations. I've been doing this every morning, whether I'm holding my baby or whether, the girls are screaming in the background. I'm going to do it. And it's working. It's great. It really, setting a tone for your day is so important. Your day starts the moment your eyes open. So, our room doesn't have any decorations or anything like that because our kids sleep in there and they cannot be stimulated in any way. Going and getting in the mirror and saying, my name is Ashley and only good things happen to me. My day is going to flow effortlessly. Or we'll sing, Logan and I have been singing for years, a song, it's going to be a good day, a good day. It's going to be a good day for the Cross family. Just anything that will just put flow into your day and happiness and joy and silly and recreation. You need that Leo energy. You need that play. And we need to not take things so seriously. If we fixate on the things we can't control right before we go to bed, and we fixate on the things we can't control right when we wake up, we're going to continue a cycle of depression because we're repressing the self, repressing the present, and that causes depression and physical imbalances. We don't want that. So yeah, mirror affirmations. Another one is, I am sacred, worthy of worship. And I think that's a really important one for people to embrace, that you are not just a body, as the Western medical system would like you to believe. You have a spirit. You are a soul. You are a spiritual being. So you have to treat yourself as sacred and worthy of worship. Gua sha, or head massage, or even just massaging with your fingers. But right away, as I'm doing these affirmations in the mirror, looking in my eyes, I will say these things. My name is Ashley and only good things happen to me. My name is Ashley and only things happen to me. Rolling of the neck, like just getting into your body and feeling that you are alive. Oops, sorry, I hit the mic. But gua sha I love because it's a non-toxic stone, so you don't have to wash it. You can use oil and it's self-cleaning, and it's wonderful to massage under the eyes because that's where we get the bags. We get this, we have to move lymph. We got to move the fluid all the way around. We need to build up the collagen in the skin, and to do that, your skin needs to remember that it needs to be tight. It needs to be toned. And so the whole, like back in the day when they're like, don't barely touch your skin, barely touch right here because the skin is so sensitive. First, the skin is sensitive, but it also needs to be stretched and it needs to be massaged. And, that we have so much fear of wrinkles, but it's not really about wrinkles, it's about lymph. And I just challenge anyone to go Google a picture of your lymph system in your face, and you'll see what I'm talking about, baby. You'll find that you also, like if you massage between the brows, if you have tension here, that feels so good. Like I'm just going to do it right now. And sometimes I do it during the day when I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed, and I just massage a little bit up and out. And you can use oil, you can use your hands, whatever you want to do, but get some massage in early. And then a scalp massage. Flip your head over for circulation purposes, and then start massaging just gently with your fingers, or get in there hard. You can also use the gua sha stone and massage the back of your neck here. I'm turning my head like if you're listening to this, you're not going to be able to see this, but the back of your neck is where you have your vagal nerve, and vagal toning is very important. This is a main precursor to soothing and calming and connecting with the nervous system. So, there's a reason why it connects to the spine and it moves all throughout our body, our nervous system. We need to remember to relax. And so many of us keep things tight and tense because we're feeling tight and tense based on our circumstances and the things that we can't control. So we create this shell of a being, and then we find that we have back problems or neck problems, or we can't sleep at night, and it's just a cascade of effects. So by massaging your head, you are calming the nervous system, and also tipping your head over, or you can lay down and massage your head. You can do whatever you want, but by flipping your head over and letting blood rush to your head, and not super fast, but yogis have believed for thousands upon thousands of years that you can change your perspective literally and spiritually just by changing your direction. So that's why yogis stand on their head to understand things more clearly. And there is a discomfort in it that you must overcome in order to get to a place of clarity. And I actually had a dream the other night that I was finally effortlessly able to stand on my head as a yoga practitioner. I've never been able to do that before. But maybe that's different this year. Maybe 2025 is the year I stand on my head. Or really, it's just a metaphor of seeing things differently and being able to actualize and actually speak the perspective that I'm seeing a bit more clearly. And as a teacher, that's really important. Hydrate and nourish. This is really important first thing in the morning. For me specifically, or any breastfeeding mother, you've been drained all night long, and I usually don't have water by the bed. I should, but I don't. And usually I'm holding the baby and she's like across me, so I can't really I'm just going to do this right here. Otherwise she's like, what are you doing? Especially if she sees I'm drinking water. She's obsessed with beverages. And I'm like, I'm not giving you my water. It's 3 a.m. But hydrate and nourish. Add a pinch of salt and baking soda to your water, or drink some bone broth or something that is nourishing, something that is going to help with the electrolytes in your body. You need sodium. It is a necessary mineral. It is a necessary thing that our bodies need. It needs to be good quality sodium that the cell can actually absorb. But that's also why I add some salt and a tiny bit of baking soda for alkalinity. And if you've had any stomach issues, or if you're feeling unbalanced, you don't need to be drinking a gallon of water a day, because you're going to pee it out. So many people are like, oh, I'm constantly drinking water and I'm constantly going to the bathroom. That means you're not absorbing your water. That's why we add salt and a pinch of baking soda, or just a little bit of salt. And you'll notice that you can drink a few glasses of water and you won't have to pee right away, as opposed to drinking a ton. I see these women on social media with their big glasses drinking constantly, and they're like, it's okay as long as I'm near a bathroom. Like, that's not a good sign. That means you're just peeing out water. But it's better to know that you need to hydrate. You just don't have to worry about drinking a gallon a day. Unless you're working out a ton, unless you're out in the sun, and, or even breastfeeding, I don't drink a ton of water. But when I do, I put the right things in it, and I notice a big change. And you'll notice it too, especially because a lot of people are chronically dehydrated and don't realize it, because they're drinking water, or they're eating a ton, but they're not actually eating good quality foods, or hydrating fruits or vegetables. Instead, they're carnivore or something like that. And everything requires balance. So we need water. We are 70% water, just like this planet. This planet cannot survive without water, and you can't either. Sorry. Eating a piece of fruit or something that's going to just give you some nourishment. I know some people want to jump right into breakfast. My kids are conditioned to have, they have booby first thing in the morning, so they don't want breakfast right away, but mommy's hungry. So I might cook myself a couple of eggs, depending upon how much time I have, or I might just eat a banana, which isn't as hydrating as some fruit, or I'll have some strawberries, or I'll make myself a protein shake, just things that are quick and easy. I also love miso soup, good quality miso. You're talking about a lot of sodium, but good quality sodium, and you can hydrate in a lickety split. You can also add vegetables. I love miso. I love it. It's great for digestion. It's great for so many things. And warming foods first thing in the morning, not hot per se, but warm foods are great for just calming and relaxing into your day. It reminds us of everything's going to be okay when I eat warm foods. And it's very easy to digest warm foods. So if you have digestive distress or imbalances or tension or any of that, it is much easier to digest warm, soft foods. So that is my advice for you there. I also do a spoonful of honey sometimes, which not store-bought honey. That is a scam. It's ultra pasteurized, even if it says local, because legally they can't put it on the shelf otherwise. So you want to go to a farmer's market or a specialty store where it came straight from the farmer to the consumer. And we go to a farmer's market where I get my honey, and it's just amazing. And there's so many benefits. It's great for the immune system. It's great for satiating your stomach. If you're starved, if you have a spoonful of raw local honey, you're not going to feel so starved anymore. There's amazing medicine in honey, and we need it. We need it, especially as breastfeeding mamas. And on an empty stomach, it's great. I've done it right before bed if I haven't been able to have my tea, or if I haven't had a snack or something, because I know as soon as we lay down, that girl is going to town on the booby until she passes out. So I cannot be super drained for that. And if you're interested in herbs and supplementation that can help while you're breastfeeding or even during pregnancy, let me know in the comments down below, and I'd be happy to do podcasts on that, because that's such important information that needs to be out there. So setting the mood is the next step. First of all, I would say the next step is get outside. if you can. Not everyone can if you're in an apartment, but open up the curtains, let the sunlight in, because the sooner we expose our eyes, our bodies to the sunlight, the quicker we can regulate our circadian rhythm. This is why going to bed when the sun goes down and getting up when the sun comes up is ideal and how we were designed to thrive. So if you can, get outside and put your feet on the ground, in the dirt, in the sand, on the lawn, whatever you can do, on a rock. But it is impossible for the body to be inflamed if it is grounded. There is so many benefits to grounding, and I can do a whole podcast on that. But it's also just connection to nature, because it connects us to our nature. We were never meant to be separate from nature. And one of the main issues why we're so chronically imbalanced and diseased and ill in this country and in this world is our disconnection from nature and our nature. And when we connect back to Mother Nature, whose pharmacy is perfect, Mother Nature, just gorgeous, and is constantly in communication with us as its allies, as its stewards and protectors. If we disconnect from our earth, and that's what shoes have done, which is a problem, we forget how powerful we are, because just by putting your feet in the dirt, the earth literally pulls out toxins and helps upgrade your immune system, and it lowers inflammation, and over time there's no inflammation. I mean, it's free. So try it. If it feels weird, that's okay. I remember when I was going through my postpartum depression, I started microdosing. And the very first time I took a microdose, the only thing I wanted to do was go outside. And I hadn't been outside comfortably unless I had to, like in my own backyard, in my own garden, for months, because there was a lot of trauma that happened right after my daughter was born, and medical trauma. And then a lot happened. It was a cascade of transformation after my daughter was born, because I needed to level up. My husband needed to level up. I mean, we needed to change a lot, and we have as a result. It's been amazing, but it was not easy, because during that transformation, like a snake, the skin tightens around you, and it's just pressure. It's very uncomfortable to change so much so quickly. But when it's required of you and spirit is like, just do it, you have to submit. And so we did. And finding how to take care of myself and microdosing was a big, big part of this whole journey. Oh my God. And I'm about to start growing mushrooms myself. Reishi. I'm obsessed with mushrooms. And, but by going outside and connecting with nature, I was able to remind myself how beautiful this world is. Because on social media, if that's the first thing you look at in the morning, which it was back then, it's really deflating and depressing, especially if you're looking at your email or you're sitting on the toilet and you're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. You have 5 minutes to go outside and you can have your phone if you want, but it's even better if you disconnect from technology in order to truly connect to nature, because that's what she wants. She wants our full attention so that she can give us her full attention, and nature is the best medicine, bar none. That's just my opinion, but because it's just, we're reminded of how easy life can be when we connect to nature. Setting the mood once you get inside. I am a big fan of essential oils. You can burn sage. You can do simmer pots. You can do, I fill my diffuser first thing in the morning. And smell is so impactful on your day and on the energy of the space. And it's not just woo-woo, this is science. Smell connects to memory. So if you want to remember your mother or your childhood, or if you've just always loved oranges, or you've always loved sandalwood, lavender, whatever your plant allies are, smell. Put them in your diffuser, or get incense, or cook a simmer pot of apples and pomegranates and vanilla and cinnamon. And I mean, that's one of my favorite ways to make the whole house smell amazing and do some magic at the same time. But that takes more than 5 minutes. It's super easy to just light an incense or to turn on your diffuser. And, there is something called smell therapy within the nervous system. We calm the nervous system with the right scents and invoke the empowerment of smell therapy. And it's a thing. I have certain smells, certain plants that smell amazing on my desk. I have sweetgrass right over there, which sometimes I don't even have to burn because it's so sacred. I just smell it as it is. And I just feel so soothed because it's like vanilla and cookies and spirit are all hugging. That's what it reminds me of. And it cheers me up right away. The thing about sage, if you're burning that first thing in the morning, you just want to make sure that you're burning something else or adding another smell on top, because it is a antibiotic. It's a spiritual antibiotic. So, and it also pulls toxins from the air. It cleanses mold. I mean, there's so many benefits to sage. It's one of the sacred medicines of the Native Americans, my peeps. But it will leave a blank slate. It will take away all the juju. So we want to replace it with some good juju. So then you can burn. I love dragon's blood. I also just love saying that in mixed company because people are like, what? You burn dragon's blood? I'm like, yes, it's not an actual dragon's blood. I would never take the blood of a dragon. They're too magical. Next, turn on some music therapy. Let's talk about that. Rolling your hips and getting into the movement of the music. We'll talk about music therapy in just a second, but movement is so important first thing in the morning to remind yourself that you are alive and powerful, because so many people get this idea that they're out of shape or that they need to go to the gym to get fit. You don't. You just need to remember that your body was made perfect. So you have to move it. Otherwise, it thinks it's not needed. That's the issue. If we're not using this power, this magical body that we've been given, this miraculous vessel, then you lose it. And then eventually your hips start locking up. And it also is directly correlated to how much trauma you've accumulated over your life and how much you've worked through and worked into your body, especially if you were abused as a child like I was. My hips locked up at a very, very young age because of trauma. And it wasn't until, and I was a dancer, and I did musical theater and all that, but I wasn't actually ever allowed to be a dancer. I was a mover. So when I would audition, I wouldn't say that I was a dancer because I couldn't do leaps because I didn't have extension. I wasn't flexible. And but I was a good mover, and they thought I was very theatrical and pleasant to watch. But I always wanted to have that amazing extension. I'm related to the first Native American ballerina, Maria Tallchief, and that was a bit of a pressure to when I started ballet, because my parents were so proud. And on the first day, my teacher was like, okay, well, she doesn't have the feet and all this other stuff. And I was like 7, it was awful. Also, I hated ballet class because it was boring for me, but they put me in jazz class and I loved it. But remembering that this body is powerful and that the past does not have to dictate the future or even the present. And so I'm stepping outside of this idea that I'm not flexible. I am flexible. I have to be flexible because I have to be flexible in my life for my family, for my business, for my students, my clients. And I need this body to be flexible so that as above, so below. So I can mirror that energy in every aspect of my life. So if I find flexibility in my hips, I can release years of trauma and tension, and I can feel alive and safe to exist. That's where it starts, in the hips. We want to work into the hips. And in Kundalini yoga, we move the hips first thing in the morning just to wake up those creative juices, that energetic flow. And then that moves upwards through different movements. But if you do anything, roll your hips, baby. Roll them hips. And you can get on the ground and do some cat-cows. And that way you're working your spine. Because if we can roll our hips and get our spine moving and flowing, and we can get a flow with our day. That's why I love doing yoga first thing in the morning. It's not really yoga in that I'm able to do a practice. It's my daughters are jumping on me, or one's pulling my hair, or Isla's under me, and Ava's just like, ah, but we're doing it. I'm still going to do it. And it took me a long time to give myself permission to not have space between my daughters and I, to have it, like, I thought I had to take time to do my yoga separate from them, and that way I could really focus. That is not my life anymore. I am not that girl anymore. I have 2 girls who just want to be on me, and they're like, Mom, you're so funny. What are you doing on the ground? So it's now a family affair, but now they're starting to stretch, and I'm teaching them how to move their hips, and we put our arms up in the air and connect to spirit and remember that we are in control. We are powerful beings. That's the main thing that we want to remember first thing in the morning to start the flow of our day, is that we are in control, that we are the ones in power. Throughout your day, bring awareness to your jaw and assess whether or not you are clenching or if there is notable tension there. Jaws are directly correlated to the vagina, the pelvic floor. So a lot of women who have some sexual dysfunction or pain during sex, or don't have a libido, usually their jaws are very tight. And it's it's interesting that our jaws, just our tension in our jaws, can radiate down the neck and down the shoulders. And if we also have tension in our base, it can go up the spine. So that's where that cascade effect, but that's that as above, so below energy. So throughout the day, make sure you're not tense here. Some of the ways that you can do this, which can be super easy, lip trills, tongue trills, just moving your mouth around in kind of a crazy way. And I give you permission to do this in public too, because we need to normalize this kind of stuff. We need to normalize, I'm just grounding, I'm just regulating, I'm just making sure I don't go crazy at my children or at the office, at my boss. I need this, so don't judge me. And that's, people should be like, oh yeah, absolutely, I just regulated, so it's your turn. But loosening the jaw, you also will be relaxing the pelvic floor. So many women are actually more tight than they are loose. And that's some lies that I debunked in my recent Mystic Circle class called Yoni Codes. And it was really interesting to see that correlation women making between the pain that they've had down below or above, and just seeing how everything is connected, especially in alchemystic herbalism. And that's the key to your wellness and your health, is that nothing is separate. No system in the body. There is no such thing as the nervous system that's separate. We teach it that way because it's so complex. Completely understand that. But when it comes to treating or addressing these imbalances, we cannot segment wellness because it's all one. And that's what I teach. It's wild how we're made so perfect, as above, so below. So one of the other ways that you can do it, it's the horse lips that you can do. Babbling is a good one. Resting your tongue gently behind your 2 top teeth. This is what yogis have been doing for thousands of years. And connect to the breath as well. And everything just relax, and it's loosey-goosey. Breath work, somatic breath work. It is an intensified focus on breath that can agitate the nervous system to a point where you feel, and by agitate, I don't mean in a negative way, but just it can wake you up, versus calming the nervous system, which is bringing you back down and more relaxed. Neither is better than the other. And that's part of the misconception out there. But what we're going to try and exercise right now, if you're interested, let's breathe in a strong, deep inhale. We're going to do that 3 times. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. In through the mouth, out through the mouth. And we're going to let all the air out. Hold at the bottom. Deep inhale. Hold at the top. And then release very slowly. And you should feel a little tingly from that, a little lightheadedness. And that's the way we mold the agitation of the nervous system with the calming of the nervous system. So we have the two communicating and saying that it's okay to be both because we're amazing. And now I'm like, woo! It's great for when you're dealing with anxiety. I always teach my girls that breath is the key to life. And it's not just original thought of mine. It's something that's been taught by yogis for thousands of years. If we can put our focus back to the breath, we can, what is the quote? Your thoughts can only take you so far, but your breath can take you to infinity. And what that means is with our breath focused and our connection to our breath, we find focus and clarity and calm. And we can create and tune this miraculous body of ours to whatever purpose we have going on in the day. If your purpose is to do dishes or to do laundry, like mine is usually first thing in the morning, we can still find a way to enjoy it. And somatic breathwork does not have to be an hour-long thing. It can just be a couple of minutes. You can teach your kids to do it. If you're at your office and you need to do it, just be like, oh, I'm just breathing. I'm just breathing, because we forget to breathe throughout the day, and breath is so important. Once we take back our control over our breath, we find a homeostasis starts to find its focus. Like we can balance things out yet again, and we can realize maybe I'm not unhappy. Maybe my thoughts are directing my unhappiness, and I need to redirect my thoughts to direct my happiness. I mean, it's amazing how easily we can shift just by connecting to one aspect of our power, and the breath is a representative of that. And sometimes we get so stuck, even if nothing's happening in the moment, we can catastrophize ourselves into a place where we become a shell internal, or we get too focused on the logical side or what's going on. I'm on social media, and like with the fires and everything, I'm like, okay, what are the theories? And I can literally see the fires, but there's no wind, and they're saying there's 70 miles an hour wind. None of this makes sense. And I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, trying to make sense of things and catastrophizing. Oh, the government is doing this, or blah, 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 blah. I don't know. It's a smart city. Oh, Hollywood's burning evidence. None of it matters. I mean, obviously the fires matter, and it matters that we suss out what's really going on, but I'm not in control of that. I have my girls in front of me, being like, Mommy, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm researching. No, I'm not. I'm fixating on the things that are out of my control, and they're pulling me away from the person that I want to be. I want to be focusing on teaching my students, on writing articles, on doing podcasts, helping people. And I'm not doing that at all by fixating on the things that I can't control and catastrophizing of what it could be. And that's a grand scale of things, but we do it with small scale things like, oh, what if this happens again? It happened years ago. Or what if I'm doomed to be left my entire life because my father left? I mean, it's so interesting how our thoughts create this tapestry of, well, we started here. How did I get there? That's so intense. But it's teaching us what our patterns are and how to break them, is to take that moment of, okay, this is the catastrophe, but this hasn't happened. This isn't happening right now. Focus on what is, bring it back to the breath, bring it back to the present moment and what can be. And the breath also opens us up to possibility. Even talking about that stuff really agitates me in not a good way. So I'm just going to do that breath work again. I'm going to breathe in and out. In and out. Once more in and out. Letting all the air out and holding at the bottom. then deep inhale in, holding at the top. And then slowly letting the breath out, ever so slowly releasing. And then also releasing my neck and realizing that everything's fine and nothing is happening to me or my family right now in this moment. I'm meant to be here doing this podcast, talking to you about how you can live your life and vibe higher. A 5-minute dance party is another thing that I love to do. If the kids are nuts and I don't know what's really going on, I'll look at the moon. Where's the moon, number one? And how is it interacting with our energies? But the easiest thing I can do, either let them go outside if it's not too cold, or turn on some music. And it's usually just for me. I'll turn on my jams and I will dance. Emotional and cognitive benefits right there in terms of the scientific lens. Music therapy has been effective in improving mood, cognitive function, and social behavior in individuals with neurological disorders. And a 2017 Cochrane review highlighted that music interventions could enhance cognitive performance and well-being in patients recovering from acquired brain injuries. So people with dementia, people with, cognition issues, they can't focus, they can't think. So ADHD would benefit from this, even though it's not really a thing. It's a nervous system imbalance. But that's what all of this is. So by finding our fun and bringing play back into the world, we reconcile with the inner child, we connect with who we want to be, we play music, and just as smell connects to memory, sound connects to memory. So playing a song that makes you happy from your childhood, from your teen years, your formative years, that music will always have a strong impact on you. So playing something like Mariah Carey or the Cranberries, I put that on, or The Cure, and I'm just like, Bruce Springsteen, Journey, Just a Small Town Girl, or Highway Run to the Midnight Sun, wheels go round and round, you're on my mind. And I start singing. Singing is another therapy. You don't have to be good at it. You can just sing or hum, or that calms the nervous system. That brings you back into the body and into the present moment. And, dance therapy is wonderful for getting stress out. So ecstatic movement has been shown to help trauma victims, to help people with PTSD. And you may not be diagnosed PTSD, but we've all had trauma. We all need the right to be free from stress and anxiety, and not caring what people think or what anyone is doing or anything else, and just being in your body and moving and getting weird with it. Who cares? I'll get musical theater with it. I'll turn on the whole soundtrack to not Best in Show, the Greatest Showman. This is the greatest show. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. And I'll start dancing, and it doesn't have to be good. No one's judging me. And I'll start to feel alive and empowered. And then I'm like, okay, what do I want to do? Okay, I'm ready. And that's how we want to approach life. I'm ready because life is meant to be lived. There are so many people out there who believe that they are stuck in this rut and it's never going to change, because this pattern is going to just keep repeating itself. And it's all connected to belief. And these micro acts of self-care, just connecting to the breath, connecting to the music, connecting to the smell, connecting to earth, these are all things that can bring you back into the present moment. And it's a gift. Life is a gift, and we are miraculous, and we just have to remember that. So get that over the top inner child out with dance. I think that everyone has the music that they like. I'll play some music and my daughter will be like, no, not that one. And I'll find the jam that she wants. And she's like, yeah. And I notice that my daughter is not a great dancer. She's not trained. So of course she's not gonna be great. But I've never said anything to her. I love it because she's just like, And I'm like, yes, girl, get it. As opposed to some people, like, when I was in dance class, they were like, oh, that's not very good. Yeah, you're not doing it. Then you got to do the technique. Got to do the technique. And I was just like, I just want to dance. So dance, baby. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. Yes, queen. And in no time, you will be feeling like you can handle anything, or at least you can handle the next 5 minutes. And if we go 5 minutes at a time, as opposed to the rest of the day, and then we go, what do I need? Constantly train yourself to start thinking, okay, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, or I'm just feeling drained, or I'm feeling something off. What do I need? And then add in these micro acts of self-care. And it can be as simple as getting back to the breath, moving a little bit, rolling the hips, rolling the neck, and remembering that you were made perfect. And with these things that we've talked about today, you're going to be able to vibe higher. And if you're interested in learning more, you can join Mystic Circle, our school. We now have Mystic Portal up, which is our wiki. It's expanding. Life is glorious. I cannot believe this is my life. I'm so grateful and blessed, and so are you. I just hope that you realize it. Step into your power today and do it on your terms. Life is life on your terms. So I'm wishing you all the best. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, vibe higher.